Shut up and sit down.
Welcome, everybody, to the 3POA podcast, episode 87. I'm your host, LaserPants, also known as Ryan. I am joined, as always, by the man behind Action Force and the CEO of Valaverse, Bobby Valor. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Love that intro too much.
You did a new intro with me with the Tauntaun head?
That's been on there, dude.
For real? I guess, yeah, I'm an asshole. I don't pay attention to the intro.
You don't. Yeah, you need to
Sorry.
start doing that.
Ryan does all this cool stuff, and then I let him down by, letting it go 3 weeks, being like, oh, you did new intro?
Well, no, I didn't do the intro. Tony did.
No, I know. I remember you asking him to do a new intro. I just didn't realize that it came up. You know what it is? When we're doing the intro, I'm usually going to make a drink, and that's,
right.
I came back and I just caught it.
You got to take care of that beforehand.
Yeah, no.
And before we bring in our guest tonight, I did want to just give a shout out to a listener, a fan of Action Force, Maximilian Tucker, man, went through a serious surgery.
Yeah.
His life was on the line. He pulled through. He's recovering. So shout out to you, Max. I hope you continue to recover well.
Yeah, bud.
And
thinking about you.
He got one of those blind boxes you put up on Valaverse.com.
A lot of people got blind boxes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of screwed this week.
Oh boy. Making room in the warehouse for Series 6?
There was that secret series that I was talking about.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. All right.
That secret series, the ZoloCon exclusive, the IshCon exclusive. I lose track of the stuff, man. I got so much shit coming in.
All right. Well, enough about you and Action Force. We've got another line to talk about, and we have some guests here. Have you heard of this guy, Adam? I guess he works in the toy industry. Gentle something.
I heard rumors about him. I never really talked to him. I was like, I don't know who this fucking guy is, but
Yeah. I mean, he works for Gentle Giant. Nothing giant about him. Everyone, please welcome Adam Van Wickler to the show. What's going on, Adam?
I am a wee man. And yeah, Bobby and I have worked together in the past. Hey, congratulations. 6 years.
Thanks, man.
That's
Thanks.
badass.
Yeah, it's it kind of snuck up on me. I totally lost track of how long it's been. So I was talking to a business partner of mine. I said, hey, it's the 5-year anniversary. I'm gonna do a new logo. I'm gonna do some stuff, some new items. And then I started thinking about it, I'm like, no, dummy. It's 6 years. You missed your 5-year anniversary. Whoops. Let's just do a 6-year anniversary. So, okay.
Too much drinking.
But it doesn't. I'm like, wow, has it really been 6 years? It's been 6 years because there was a year and a half before we had product in because of the Kickstarter and then COVID and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's 6 years the company was founded. Then I'll do something special for when the anniversary of when Series 1 came in.
Heck yeah. And Bobby and I go way back, guys. We did the 12-inch Marvel stuff together.
We did.
Quite a few Legends.
We've worked on a lot of stuff. Yeah, man. With the UFC
Jazzwares stuff together.
Jazzwares, yep.
A
lot of parties at San Diego.
Yeah, we did do a little bit of Action Force stuff together, but I don't think it's ever seen the light of day.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, that's secrets.
That's secret. that
Whoops.
secret stuff.
All right, Adam, you brought a friend with you.
Oh, a big one. Make up
he
for
is-
my diminutive stature.
He is a big one. He is a legend of the toy industry. He sculpted our childhoods, working for Toybiz, McFarlane, and now Gentle Giant.
Wow.
I am
Not really.
honored to welcome Phil Ramirez.
How's it going?
Welcome to the show, Phil. I am so happy to have you here.
I
could spend.
Yeah.
Work for Gentle Giant.
He hasn't
Oh,
really
sorry.
worked for Gentle
Yeah,
Giant.
I mean,
He's
once.
kind of my competitor, in all honesty. Like
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
So, where are you working?
Right now, just here and there.
Freelance?
Yeah.
I've been freelance I've had my
Right
own
on.
company for a long time.
I could like spend all night talking to you about Toybiz, honestly.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Killer
Yeah.
memories. It was a good time.
I feel like Toybiz needs, like, the history of Toybiz needs to be a Netflix documentary.
We've all kind of talked about that as like it'd be pretty funny to do, but it's through the lens of one of the guys in the team is like infamously like he's got great stories. The idea would be like through the lens of his stories, and then we tell.
If you guys did that, because like I was not involved, but I've heard the stories, and it's like it sounds like you're gonna get like lawsuits or something will
It was
happen.
a wild time.
So, yeah.
It was like
Oh,
a
yeah.
fraternity.
Statute of
Enough
limitations.
years have passed that it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got offered a job by one of your former counterparts from
Which one?
Toybiz. Stephanie Barone.
Oh, she's the best.
Oh,
Yeah, when
yeah.
I went to Wicked Cool, they literally offered me the job on like a Thursday, and then they sold Wicked Cool that weekend at Toy Fair. And then
Yeah.
the next week, I'm like, Stephanie, I don't think I'm getting that job, right? She's like, yeah, they put a freeze on all that stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
I worked with Wicked Cool I did a bunch of Pokemon stuff for him.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to know,
Right in the same vein as Cursed Dead. Pokemon Cursed
Yeah.
Dead. Yeah.
I just want to know who at Toybiz who came up with the double elbow and double knee joint. Do you guys know? Can anyone take credit for
So
that?
I don't know this for a like 100% fact, but I believe that Jesse was using imports. So like it was
Okay.
like Common Rider stuff. There was
Baki.
like the Baki the Grappler, I know, had some of the articulation. And then the idea was, I think the big idea was taking like a 12-inch doll articulation, but in half size. Was like
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I always wondered that because it's like Toybiz was the first one mainstream to do it.
Yeah. What was it the Spider-Man was the first one to get it?
Spider-Man, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He sits on my desk in my office. That's
Yeah,
Spider-Man
that was-
figure.
Yeah. We had no idea what we were doing, man.
Was
We
that?
were like using plastic and it was just like, make this happen. And Dave and I were just like, all right, let's go.
What Spider-Man is? Is that the one from Spider-Man Classics?
Spider-Man Classics, yeah.
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 And,
and
then
that's
it's like, then you guys were like, hold my beer. Let's do Lord of the Rings and let's just make that a banger.
Yeah, dude. I had so much fun doing that, man. I did like most of the goblins and the orcs.
Okay.
That was so rad. Yeah.
Such
So
a great
cool.
line.
I have them I have a lot of them. The 2-up prototypes
Oh,
painted in
wow.
my studio. Yeah. And then
That's
like
cool.
at the end of it, I was doing them all 1-to-1.
Okay.
But when they told me like, hey, this is gonna be dying down soon, I got what's his name? The guy that's got his arm his face is a mess.
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
from Return of the King.
Yeah.
That one I did
I'll
2-up.
think of him.
I did it 2-up just so that I could have it. And I have that sucker.
Gorthmog, I think was his name.
Gothmog.
Yeah,
Gothmog, yeah.
Gothmog?
Gothmog,
Something like that, yeah.
Were you using Castelline or wax then?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
Physical
Well,
sculpting.
Yeah, the good old days, Ryan. The
it was
good old
all,
days.
all traditional. So
All
all the
traditional.
joints were
Yeah.
all done like they were milled. Like, it was
Lathes.
like everything lathes. Yeah, it was like
Or if you want to go a little inside baseball, when we were at one point, I did like 11 Marvel Legends in a month. I had 2 people helping me, but like we would run castings of figures that were done about the same size and just Dremel off all the
details,
parts,
yeah.
just
Mhm.
slap them together.
No, that's
We had
crazy.
to go if we were just running and gunning, dude. Can you
it's
imagine
like extreme
traditionally-
customizing at that
Yeah,
point.
traditionally banging out 11 multi-jointed figures, dude. I don't know
No
how I
shit.
used to do it.
You were like Dr. Scante.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
wasn't.
One of the coolest things I would like when I first started at Hasbro, my desk, I don't even want to call it an office. It was a desk. It was right outside Mark Boudreau's office. For those of you guys that don't know, Mark Boudreau started at Kenner back in the 70s.
Oh, nice.
And it's like, I was talking to him one day and I was like, Mark, like, what's like one of the biggest like improvements like during product development and toy design? And he points to his desk and goes, the Cintiq. He's like, dude, I used to, work on drafting tables and stuff like that. And it's like, I started in the comic book industry. I had a big giant drafting table.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I live on my Cintiq. I can't live without that thing.
Yeah, me too. I mean, when I do digital, I can't. I have like a little sucker that I hook up to my laptop when I have to like run it, like get out of town or something. And it sucks. It's just not the same thing as like, I have a big old Cintiq.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That thing.
And you are a big dude with giant hands, so I can't imagine on a laptop that working out very well.
Yeah. And I'm not very technologically advanced, so it takes a minute.
Do you is traditional sculpting kind of over with, or are you strictly digital sculpting now? Yeah.
Done. I mean, it has its place. I still do it occasionally, but I built a toy line. It's almost done, but I was going to do it like old school, like do clay, take to wax, do all the stuff. And then I was like talking to a factory or like the process, and they're like, yeah, we're going to scan it. I was like, shit. So like, it's still going to get digital. So then I ended up scanning my stuff. And as soon as you get in the computer, like, I messed that up. Shit, I got to fix that. So yeah, it's like an extra step. It costs more money to scan it. So it's just easier to build it. And it's so fast, but it is fun to like still sculpt.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
do enjoy it.
Before the show started, we were talking in the back room, and you and Bobby were talking about, you guys had kind of worked on something together before, but you never actually met.
No, I've never met Bobby. I've known about him forever, but I've never met him.
Yeah, same. I've always known about you and never had the chance to work with you.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we've never. It's hilarious. Like we've just never ever. I don't even know if I've been in the same room as him, and we've probably been in a million of the same places.
Right?
Yeah.
Bobby would probably love your studio and all the prototypes, but he's never going to come to California to visit.
Understood. I'm born and raised here, and I understand.
We are off.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, I live in Seattle, which is like, it's West Coast, but we're all the way up in the corner next to nothing, right? Like the closest thing is Portland. And
nice.
so I've been trying to get Bobby to like, hey, come do a toy show out here. No one comes out here. Bobby's like, nope, no West Coast.
There's a reason, Ryan. There's a reason.
I live here. Okay. I get it.
Hey, LaserPants, have you ever been to the Blue Grouse?
Yes. Yeah. It's like 5 minutes from my house.
Do you know the owner?
No.
Her name's Diana.
Okay.
That's my ex-girlfriend.
Really?
Tell her you know me.
Okay, I will.
Is that going to go over well?
It's going to go over well. I think so.
It's actually the grouse is in the neighborhood that I grew up. It's like,
oh, nice.
It's like super close to my parents' old house. Anyway, all right, we're going to talk about your guys' line, The Cursed Dead. First, I want to get to some of these super chats. It's Chad. Thank you so much. It's Chad for the $5 super chat. He says, because I love you both and you both love me more. Thank you, Chad. I love you so much.
Egomaniac.
We got Robert's Infinite Realms here. Thank you, Robert. What's up, party people? Hope you guys are great. Thank you, Robert. Toy Gains. Oh, by the way, congrats to the Mega Powers podcast. They hit 100 episodes today before this show. I went on with them. It was a lot of fun with Toy Gains. So congrats to you guys. There you go, Adam. He says, thanks for everything. LP, thanks for everything. Bobby, I have a crush on Colonel Siege. Did you realize he looks like Fred Ward?
Does he? I didn't.
A little bit.
He's an amalgamation of like, you always take inspiration from things. And I mean, some guys are from scratch and stuff, but some guys are like, oh, I like this and I like that. Siege is like a combination of like 10 different people. So when people are like, oh, is he this? Is he this? Is he this? And I'm like, he's like 10 people and he's none of what you asked. But so Fred Ward, that's the first time I heard that one.
I definitely get Brad Pitt vibes from the Tank movie.
War Daddy, baby.
Yeah.
Poor daddy.
Big time.
From Fury.
Thank you, Toy Gains. True Star Screamer. Thanks for the member chat. He says, any of y'all work with Darius George? He was a buddy.
Does not ring a bell.
I didn't.
I'm terrible with names, but I don't remember. Darius is a pretty cool name. I would remember that.
Thank you, True Star Screamer. Maximilian Tucker, he's here. He says, speaking of Cursed Dead, this is the best Afterlife. I didn't make it, guys. Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Stop it, Max.
Already. He's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, right? If anyone can make the joke, it's him.
Yeah, that's
man.
cool.
Good to see you here, Max. And then Eddie sends a super chat. Eddie, thank you so much. He says, went blind and deaf temporarily last year and lost a friend. Jesus, I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Part of recovery has been Valiverse and 3POA. Thank you both. Happy 6 years. I nabbed a Vanguard yesterday. Mystery box on its way to Australia to celebrate a better year. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Wow.
We got a lot going to the land down under, so I'm always excited
man.
when we send stuff to Australia.
Yeah. Thanks for the kind words, dude. And thanks for the super chat. And then Articulated Ninja Reviews. Thanks for the super chat. He says, my weekly keep the peace payment to Bully Pants. I'm not a bully. I just got jokes. Thank you, Ninja. Okay, one more, and then I'm going to put the super chats on hold so we can get right into the Cursed Dead. What a way to kick it off with Figure Fight Club.
Ooh.
Oh, my God.
No,
Guys.
don't.
We got a $50 super chat from Figure Fight Club. Thank you so much. He says, go buy some Cursed Dead figures. Back to Kickstarter. Thank you so much.
Thank
Figure
you.
Fight Club. Wise words there, guys. Back to Cursed Dead Kickstarter. All right, I'm done being a dumbass. So we can get right into it, guys. The Cursed Dead. Adam and Phil, you guys joined together to form Toy DNA, your company. And this is the first line that you have brought forth for us collectors, right?
Yep.
Indeed. Yeah. So it's a 1/12 scale line. It's meant to be its own thing. It's like kind of a horror anthology. So each of our characters has like a standalone story. I know I'm speaking to like-minded individuals here when I talk about how I grew up loving the G.I. Joe file cards, the little bios that gave you just enough background that then you used your imagination and filled in the rest, or you read the comics or watched the cartoon. But those file cards, that the bio was super important to me. So Phil designed all of these characters. Little bit of input from me on some of them, definitely a lot of input from me on Articulation, but I insisted that he give them backstories as well. So he wrote some awesome little backstories to these, and someday in the same vein of what Bobby's doing with Action Force, like I'd love to do it either anthology comic books or in a perfect world TV or movie or something along those lines. But each character is individual, and we do have a larger storyline as well. But these are also monsters, creatures, demons, vampires. They're meant to fight against your other 1/12 scale lines. So we want them to be able to work with, when you say 1/12 scale, I think you guys all know that is all over the place, depending on whether it's true 1/12 or if it's like the Marvel Legends 1/12. And then, everything in between. There's the NECA 1/10 and everything. So we made our characters purposely sized to work with as much as possible. And I'm sure Ryan has them in his slideshow of doom, but we'll show some pictures there. But yeah, it's 9 figures, 5 basics, 4 deluxes, and let's talk Cursed Dead.
Let's start with the basics then. The first one is the Drinker, 6.75 to 7 inches tall. So that's for a monstrous style figure, that's a good size. To match with your other lines, because Marvel Legends averages 6 1/4 to 6 1/2, but then you got NECA, which is right around 7. So
it's a very obviously, like, as you look through it, we developed a very lanky, highly articulated base body. The idea is that you will likely never really have these standing straight up. they're meant to be in crazy, creepy poses. And I think that they'll work really well with a lot of different lines. I'm a guy that collects, like I have Mezco figures. I have tons of Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified, Action Force, but I also collect a lot of imports. So I collect a lot of SHF and Mafex, and the SHF lines like Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, they all fight crazy creatures, but rarely do they get made as action figures. So this is meant to kind of work with domestic toys, imports, you name it. If you want villains, we're trying to give you a broad choice of villains with our wave one.
Yeah. So the basic figure comes, the drinker comes with, and he is a basic figure, 3 heads, 6 hands, right?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit. What's the backstory with the drinker? Because you have stories for all these characters.
Yeah. Phil, do you want to talk a little bit backstory?
I mean, it's just classic, lore, vampire living underground. These guys are pretty simple. Some of the other ones got a little more complicated, the stories, but yeah, that one's pretty. These are
intended as like an army builder.
The drinkers are like army builders. There's no specificity to them. It's just kind of like, we always thought of it as an army builder.
And we do. I'm putting the cart ahead of the horse, but Phil has designed like a lot of other characters that we didn't include in this wave one, including additional vampire characters that are more character specific.
Yeah.
I know back in the day at DesignerCon, we showed off our vampire cowboy, which is it's called the Blood Slinger. Also has a great backstory, but Phil designed him he's got layered soft goods to pull off the
so many weapons,
so many accessories that he designed for this character that it would have been like a kind of a mega deluxe. So we kind of put a pin in him for
Actually, I've not said this on any podcast. I built him a coffin to keep all his weapons in.
Yeah.
Like
Desperado-y style. Yeah.
Nice. And Phil, you did all the input drawings for them?
No, that's just a button. It's a couple of buttons on ZBrush. Yeah.
So so you built them in 3D and just transfer. Man,
that was I insisted on him creating
Dude, I draw
artwork after the
crap, buddy. They were my drawings. You'd be like, "Oh,
that's
so you're
absolutely untrue." Phil goes to he used to go all the time to the drink and draw events, and he's actually a very good artist. He just,
dude, you'd be like, "Hey, they hired a 4th grader to do these designs."
I'm pretty sure that on your Instagram you have some of your art too, and it is probably.
I hang out with guys that are just savage artists, so.
I mean,
by comparison, I'm not a very good illustrator. I'm a decent sculptor.
Yeah. But sorry, Ryan, I'm interrupting you again. But Bobby just had a video on the Valaverse channel showing how he goes about like creating stuff for quotes for factories and the process behind that, which I love that stuff. So bravo, please more. But
thanks, man.
In general, like we developed this toy line and fully engineered everything so that way we could get our factory quotes, much like the video that Bobby has explaining the process. And having Phil go backwards to do that line art out of the ZBrush file was something where I was like, okay, I need something that is going to explain to both factory and potential like backers and everything. Here's all of the actual injection molded parts and what each character comes with. So we went in and one of my other coworkers, Renee Aldrete, who is awesome digital sculptor. He works at Gentle Giant.
Amazing.
He had been experimenting with a lot of the different like render capabilities. And it was like, hey, we can do this as line art. So he showed Phil how to do it. And Phil's like, yeah, it's pressing a button. It's not really pressing a button. It's actually pressing quite a few buttons. But you can take anything. Yeah. Phil also refers to anyone that sculpts in ZBrush as a pixel pusher. So there you go. You can see how he feels about it.
Well, it's like the only thing I know how to do in ZBrush is turn a 3D file into JPEG turns. And you guys know Carter. It's like I said to someone like, "Hey Carter, now we call each other Riggs and Murtaugh just from back in the day at Hasbro." And I was like, "Hey, can you tell me how to make JPEG turns?" And he sent me, it was literally like a 2-page PDF because it was that many steps to do it. And I'm like, it's not just like a file select like button. Like he's like, no, man, ZBrush doesn't make anything easy.
No,
it doesn't.
Not, well, it wasn't a program initially made for 3D sculpting. It was a 3D painting program that then turned into this 3D sculpting program that basically the whole industry is now using instead. So,
Bobby,
it has a ton of features that no one uses.
Shift S.
Shift S. That's Shift it.
S. Put it in the pose. Shift S. It takes a picture. Move it over. Spin it. Shift S. You're done.
Good to know. All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course. I'm here to help.
See, this is why Adobe needs to create a 3D program so that everything can be on the same Adobe platform. Like if you know Photoshop, you can go into Illustrator. So it's just like, I was like, I go into ZBrush and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's wild, dude. It took me 2 years to learn how to do it. But I mean, I'm also not very bright. But it took me a while, man. Like it took me a while. And thankfully, David Igo, you know Igo?
The Monsters Kickstarter that was recently up, like end of last year. He's behind that. He worked at Sideshow and
he's been around. He taught at a school and he knew exactly how to teach. He's awesome.
He's the same person that taught me ZBrush, and I know very basic ZBrush, but he is a great teacher. He's
a great teacher.
Might have to reach out to him for some private lessons.
Yeah, I think he does. He's really, honestly, he's really good. You'll learn it. Trust me.
Ryan is so trying to keep us on track, and we're
no, it's okay. Hey, listen, I'm happy sitting here and saying nothing, and you guys just talking about the behind the scenes stuff. I love it. So,
all right, fair enough. Well, so the Brood does come with 3 heads altogether. You could see all 3 of the heads between these pictures. So he comes with the closed mouth, creepy smile head. He comes with the open mouth, feeding head, and then he comes with the skull head that has an articulated jaw, and then 3 sets of hands. So 8 of the 9 figures in wave 1 come with the skull head with the articulated jaw. They're all painted to match the general base body that they come with. So that way you have some additional options for play or, background, whatever you want to do with it. Originally my idea with the skull, cause like I was the one that I told Phil, I was like, the skull head would be a cool thing. And we originally wanted to do it as, I really love any of the Kickstarters that if they hit stretch goals, instead of having like additional new items, they give back and they include them in the offerings that are already out there to increase the value. I love that. And that was going to be what the skull head was initially, but then I realized that, in general, people were going to probably complain a lot about pricing. So adding more value in at the onset is cool. And then we do have some potential stretch goals. But if we were to have a crazy final push on this and we blow past those, I would really like to go back to that. And we would then have enough budget that including additional items with all of the base offerings that people have already supported, that is something that I would love to do. Increasing value in what you get. Like, I was telling Bobby, he knows, I wrote about it in Toy Collector Magazine, the fact that after a couple of waves, he was able to lower prices because of his relationships that he's established with the factory and success of the line. It's like, that's a baller move. And, I obviously, I buy lots of toys, lots of different toy lines, lots of different price points. I do respect everyone's thoughts on pricing, but pricing is what it is and it's realistic. And we hope that the quality will speak for itself. And like I said, if we get the opportunity, we will eventually pay it forward and make sure that people are getting that full value that they're paying for.
Yeah, and I see the comments in the chat, and we are going to talk about pricing. But first, we're going to introduce all the characters.
Sorry.
Show the
I
no, it's
jumped
okay.
ahead.
No.
I saw
Adam,
comments, and you know,
it's all good. We're going to get there. It's part of the slideshow, actually.
oh,
Right?
bring
I
it.
just want to say I love the articulated jaw on the skull head. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
awesome, because then you have army builders in different colors. You just have a bunch of freaking crazy looking skeletons, and anyway. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Jin, tell us about hold on, let me blow you up there. Yeah, that's great. I love
That's an unpainted skull head. So that's just a 3D printed one that because I have obviously the 3D printed playable-ish prototype.
And the Jin is one of the demons. So we have like the new dead. They're kind of like generational, the horror. So it's like there's 2 that are like 50s inspired, 2 that are 70s inspired, 2 80s inspired. They're all over the place in that regard. But the old dead are the demons, and each of them has like a blue orb to show that they're ancient, and that'll reflect also in the packaging. But the Jin is a genie, and he's one of the demons. We have 3 of them, and they're the and that's his lamp at the bottom, which is a king's skull.
And it's articulated also. So
that's wild.
It's hinged and opens up.
Yeah.
So the Jin comes with 2 heads, the Jin head, the articulated jaw skull head, and then he comes with 7 hands total. So 3 sets of hands plus 1 specific hand to hold the lamp, because the grip hand was a little bit goofy looking holding the lamp, and the open kind of what I call like the Force Lightning Claw kind of hand. It just didn't hold it well enough. So the Jin 7 hands total.
Yeah.
He gets a unique one.
The amount of paint on these figures too, it's like you don't really see this from mass produced lines like, I know we pick on them a lot, but from Hasbro, like Marvel Legends or even from, lines from Mattel, these are covered in paint.
We had some really great people from both the industry and toy community work on our paint masters. Beardy, his real name is Scott, but he's someone that I've worked with. I worked with at Soda Toys back in the day, and then I nabbed him and brought him over to Gentle Giant. He actually is the manager of the paint department at Gentle Giant. He painted the vast majority of our prototypes, but we also had Nico Hodge, Artman Customs on Instagram. He's a teacher by day, but then a professional toy prototype painter in his after hours. So he comes into Gentle Giant whenever we have too much work that we can't handle in a certain timeline. And he painted the Krankle for us and did an amazing job, so much that he changed one of the items, like story-wise, like the lore, because of how good of a job he did. And Punker Mike from Instagram and YouTube, he actually worked on 2 of the figures as well, Gourdy and Dr. Scante.
Yeah, he uploaded a video right before we went live that kind of broke down the whole campaign and the characters and stuff. It was good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's the best.
Yeah. So we got Jin there, and then these like glamour shots by Cheney 180.
Yeah, so
your podcast buddy. Yeah.
I sent Cheney all of the prototypes. He is not used to photographing prototypes at all.
He broke them all.
We're no longer friends after this process. That's it. And luckily I was also able to hand off some of the prototypes. We did a meetup at Frank & Sons last weekend, and I handed a few off to Art with Toys, so he's taking some pictures. And then you saw today I posted 1/6 Shooter shot a few for us. That's the first ones that I've seen.
That thing's so sick.
Came out great.
I got those in here. Yeah.
Oh, you have the one he did of
LaserPants is getting pissed at me because I keep jumping ahead. Apparently,
I'm not pissed at all. This is great. It's all good, man. Gourdy is the next basic figure.
Gourdy is like a fan favorite. This is one that like everyone. There's the 2 fan favorites. Gourdy, and then Dr. Crane, which I know Ryan is a fan of.
Yeah, Gourdy's it's the one that's like paint by numbers horror story. The kid is got some problems. Yeah, his parents own a farm. They sell pumpkins. Kid's tortured by the local street toughs. They kill him in the pumpkin patch and comes back as this thing. And every time he exacts his revenge, another face appears in the skull.
That is a heartbreaking story.
We got 3 in there. At the end, it would be covered. There might be another head coming for that one.
Yeah, that's the idea. Is like, if for additional items or accessory packs, whatever we end up doing, but like Gourdy could come with additional heads with more faces carved into them. He also comes with the skull head. The skull head is in that green paint to match his body. It makes for a really creepy looking, like zombie-ish kind of character in general. But yeah, Gourdy was one where it's like when Phil first showed me the sculpt and then Punker Mike painted it, I was like, oh, it's cool. It's got like cool Halloween vibes. But yeah, as soon as I read the backstory, I was like, that already sounds like a movie that like, it's like I could have been reading the back of a VHS box. Like it just sounded like it was ready to go.
Yeah. And speaking of Punker Mike, there's his photography of Gourdy. Phenomenal job there.
And the thing with like working with all these, we're working with all these really talented people. We weren't like heavy-handed with the art direction. It was just kind of like, here's what we generally want it to look like. And I find sometimes, especially if you handpick your artists, I'm sure you've experienced it, where if you go for it, they throw in, they do their thing, and everybody did their thing.
Awesome. Then we got the hate
and rage. So those are the other 2 demon characters in the initial wave 1. So it's the overarching storyline is demons versus the other monsters. So it would be Jin, hate, and rage are the demons. Hate and rage are the demon brothers. So I don't. Phil was mentioning with the blue orb is a story element with the demons. And with the Jin that you showed previously, it's the blue orb is in his lamp. And then with hate and rage, they each have it integrated into their head sculpt. So hate has it in his forehead, and then rage actually has it trapped in his mouth. And the idea with these guys is they're demons that are summoned by, powerful people to help them win wars or battles over, the course of centuries. And it always backfires, and they're destroyers. You can't control them. So the idea is that you summon one, and then you have to summon the other to take down the other. Now,
what would you say to collectors that say that these are an affront to the Lord?
I think that most of our toy line probably is.
You're right.
Yeah.
You are right.
It's definitely. I mean, like that's all of my family members and my wife's family members are pretty horrified by this toy line in general. So, yeah.
I did 8 years in Catholic school, dude. That's why I'm coming up with all this stuff.
Oh yeah, my dad tells me horror stories about Catholic school.
Yeah, I'm old enough to where they still beat us.
Yeah. Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad told me he saw a kid get his head put through the chalkboard one time. I'm like, oh my God. That's like
I got punched a couple times. I got hit with rulers.
Jeez.
But the worst one of all was this nun who looked like Tom Hanks. And she washed my mouth out with soap and it was the old, like the powder soap.
Oh,
she got like the brown paper, pumped out that powdered soap, worked it in there, and then jammed that sucker in my mouth.
And now look at her. She's rage.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he's got that blue orb thing. He's got that blue orb in his mouth, like you were saying.
Yes.
Again, more good photography there by Cheney 180. All right, now that's all the basics. We're getting into deluxe figures, and oh boy, I am digging a couple of these. I mean, it's all cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
but
idea
first-
was to offer 2 different price points. You
Right.
know, I like hopefully that, someone can find something that works for them. But yeah, the deluxe figures, they have more tooling, more unique tooling going on, as well as additional soft goods. And our soft goods are not just, standard run of the mill soft goods. This is I've been collecting toys forever. I love 3A, which was the precursor to 3.0. 3A was Ashley Wood with the company that has now become 3.0, and they were doing 1/12 scale figures with soft goods before Mezco even started doing it. And basically what they brought to the game was really nice tailored soft goods, but they painted them. So they distressed, painted, they did stuff on it to make them feel more worn in. And basically that kind of fits the aesthetic of the line that we were kind of going for, and a little bit more of that artsy toy vibe that 3A also was going for. Phil made it as difficult as possible when he was creating the prototype for Dr. Crane here. This is one where, as I was saying, like, Phil designed these on his own, and he would usually show me stuff. Dr. Crane was one where he did not show me at all. It was completed and physically completed, and he showed it to me, and I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. But yeah, he went ham on making Dr. Crane. Phil, you should talk about Dr. Crane. I'm going to shut up.
Well, I've done a Kickstarter before and I failed. So I was like, if this fails, I want this. This is going to be on my wall. So I printed it 2 up, spent so much time on this guy, and then, did the soft good work, and then, turned it in because I've always loved the Fly. It's like as a kid, I was blown away by it. Of course, Baxter Stockman. I worked in the Turtles when I was a kid. I just wanted to make a Fly that was just way more intense.
I mean, it's more intense. You went full legit disgusting on this guy. He's got maggots coming out of his back there.
Yeah.
He's got a rotted human hand on his wrist.
Yep. Yes.
Like, this thing is
the back
gnarly.
of his head has teeth too from when he mutated from his human form. Like, it's like, there's some nasty stuff.
I wish I could zoom in, but it's a slideshow. I can't do that. But this is hands down my favorite one. I love the Fly too. I'm talking about the Jeff Goldblum one.
Yeah, no, I do too.
Yeah.
Oh man, love that. I mean, all that's every iteration of the Fly has ruled, dude.
Yeah. And I love the whole like mad scientist thing too. I've always liked that since I was a kid.
Me too. So that's why
there's 2 of them.
There's 2. I did 2 nods to it, and I figured that these guys would be in our story, like not necessarily fighting, but working to make things, more beneficial to the modern side.
Like Dr. Scante.
Yes.
That's the other one.
Yes.
He's got the 50s kind of sci-fi vibes, like Ultraman villain or something along those lines. You can see his crazy ray gun. He also comes with 2 heads, 3 sets of hands. And yeah, he's got a backstory that I really encourage everyone to read, and then maybe visit Urban Dictionary if they don't fully understand some of the backstory, because there's some interesting stuff in there.
I like that.
So what's Dr. Scante's backstory? Can you?
He was working on a super soldier formula to create soldiers that didn't sleep or that could get hurt. And while he was making it, the lab exploded and he turned into this thing because he was working with lobster polymers and you've heard of like the zombie lobster thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So working with all that, he turns into this, and now he can't talk, and he just whistles and clicks until he can find his humanity.
Never sleeps.
And he never sleeps.
Who did the comic book artwork here? That's great.
Erwin Papa.
Cool.
Do you guys know him?
Sounds familiar.
Hey, Val, you should check him out.
Okay.
And he does.
Erwin Papa.
Let me look. Yeah, Erwin Papa. He's amazing. And also, he's does a lot of freelance, and he's freaking fast as hell. super talented, super nice guy, like just beast.
Blake says, will these come with comics?
I mean, we have not developed comics yet, but I am someone who has been reading comics his entire life.
Me too.
I love comic books. I absolutely want to do comic books. So it's not off the table. It likely won't happen as far as including them with Wave 1, but I do like the idea of we're doing some interesting stuff with packaging is our plan. So there might be a way to start to get some comic art involved in the packaging a little bit, because I mean, Phil, do you want to talk about your packaging concept? You want to talk about your package?
Well, it's 2 packages, same template, but one is and it's been done, but 80s videotape. But it'll have a door that you can open so you can see the plastic and see the figures inside and not know what's inside. Load out from the bottom so that the collector can take them out and put them back and without ripping the package of shit. And it's basically The Cursed Dead is like an anthology videotape, and on the back it's all the different episodes or the different stories within the movie, and each one is its own kind of what was the one that we were discussing? Tales from the Crypt. Like each character is its own story. So, and then the old school, the demon, anthology series. The demons, same packaging layout, but we're gonna make them old books, like Necronomicon. Cool. Yeah. So they'll fit together, but also it's like the old and the new. You know.
Good idea.
Nice.
All right, so that's Dr. Scante, and then Krankle. So the Christmas action figure thing has gotten really popular the last couple of years with a few different companies, and so I see people going nuts for them. So this fits right in with those.
This is I wanted to do, like, I've also designed like a thing for the Tooth Fairy as well. But like the idea was to make, because I mean everybody knows the Krampus now, like everyone's kind of figured that out. Everyone knows it now. But I wanted to make something that was like in this world that was so deranged that, you know, like making new lore essentially. And the Krankle is an alien who's absolutely like banished from his home planet, finds the culture and of the world here, and he gets really into Santa Claus. So he gets so into the Santa Claus lore, and he's demented. So he decides that he wants to help Santa. So he knows that the one thing Santa really doesn't like is that kids stay up late to catch a glimpse of him. So he's taking it upon himself to dress like his idea of what Santa is, because it doesn't look anything like him, and take kids that stay up late to look at Santa and skin them and take their eyes and put them on his Christmas tree.
It's
Oh my god!
Okay, stuff of nightmares.
It is warped. So then Phil designed. You can see he comes with like a little Santa face mask also. So Phil initially, when he sculpted that, he designed it to be like one of those crappy like 70s, 80s like Halloween mask, Santa masks,
like a terrible rubber mask.
That's why we didn't explain that to Nico when we gave him the output like to paint. So he painted it, and he painted it in like this realistic, creepy, bloody way that it now looks like a skinned face. And someone in one of the chats or in one of the comments was like, yo, it looks like he skinned a mall store Santa Claus. And we were like, holy crap, like that's it. Like that fits the story of the character better. That it's like he's so obsessed with Santa, and it's like, you know, like Elf, you know, you sit on a throne of lies. It's like he saw a mall store Santa and he was so pissed off about it that he skinned him and now uses his face as a mask. So it is warped, guys. And Phil is very, you know, like he sells himself short, but he's a great sculptor. he comes from a family of tailors. So he actually worked on a lot of these soft goods that you're seeing here. Like he was the one that worked on, I think, 3 of the 4 figures. And on top of that, there's a Krankle Christmas song that we put up on Instagram and YouTube. It's also linked through the Kickstarter campaign page. But right before Christmas, we released it as a teaser to announce the launch of the campaign date. And the Krankle Christmas song is written and performed by Phil. It has some serious, like, oogie boogie classic Grinch sound to it. Yeah. And Josh Falcon, the other guy that's in our crew, is a sound engineer. He's the one that actually mixed it, put it all together. Cheney 180 took some videos and pictures that we used, but the Krankle Christmas song video, I highly encourage anyone to check it out. It is absolutely terrifying. I played it for my 11-year-old son.
Oh man,
it is warped. My kid was terrified.
You want me to play it?
Yeah, if you can, do it.
Bob,
it's like 2 minutes long though, so
it's long,
and we're gonna copyright strike you too.
All right, here we go.
I'm gonna get some coffee. I hate listening to my voice.
Did you trick
pause.
your parents to think you're asleep? Did you hide under the couch to catch them? All naughty children, make your peace, because Krankle Claus will make you his treat. He'll grab you by your feet. You can't break free. He'll skin you while you beg and scream. He'll hang all your parts from his Christmas tree. It's an awful sight for all who've seen. So get under your covers and go to bed. You don't want the Krankle to scope your head. He is Santa's biggest fan and does the things that Santa can't. Hide your eyes before he plucks them out. You don't want your parents to hear that awful shout. Beware the Krankle Claus. Beware the Krankle Claus. Beware the Krankle Claus.
Did you stay up late for someone to see? Well, you're not getting Santa, you're getting me. I'm Krankle Claus before you count to 3. Your skin will be hung from my Christmas tree. Close your eyes as tight as you can and be as still as a snowman. If I catch you peeking into the tree, I'm Krankle Claus. Would you like to meet me?
Yeah. Warped.
Well, so when I wake up with nightmares tonight, and now I know why. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Awesome.
Play for kids. Play for kids. It works really well. My daughter was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
All the deluxe figures have soft goods, so that's like an ongoing theme with all these deluxe figures, which, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes them deluxe, right?
Yeah,
soft goods are not.
There's gonna be wire in the soft goods, and then also like the distressing and extra paint. So anyone that's played with 3A figures in the past, they'll know that like after you mess with them, you almost want to go wash your hands. They feel a little bit dirty because like you literally are. It's paint on soft goods a lot of. So yeah, it's definitely it. You know, I feel weird saying it like makes them into kind of more of an artsy toy, but like that is literally what we're going for. We want these to have a vibe where it doesn't look like, hey, I bought some soft goods on eBay. It's like, no, this looks worn in, it looks real. It can go on your shelf and scare all of your other action figures.
I mean, these are designer toys. I mean, that's what they are. Chowler says these remind me of Spawn figures from back in the 90s.
Oh, guess who sculpted some of those?
Yeah, Phil.
Worked on I did some Spawn work in 1995.
Wow, cool.
Series.
I was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I was
like,
in
it was like high school,
middle school.
I was around that time. Yeah.
I started making toys. I got the job at Varner Studios when I was 17. And then by 18, I was a sculptor.
Wow, cool.
And I worked on, Ninja Turtles, McDonald's premium toys, Toxic Avenger, Biker Mice from Mars. Yeah, everything. Wildcats.
Damn.
Just anything I could. Yeah. A lot of Disney stuff too.
Which is why he's this warped, guys. Like, it's all Disney's fault. But there you see that was a naked Krankle that Ryan just had up, and then also the Krankle with the skull head. So Krankle comes with multiple sets of hands. He has the hood that's removable. Phil has already mentioned this, where the hood is supposed to be a secondary part with the head that fits in it. But if we have any issue with that in production, we will actually include 2 Krankle heads, one that will be permanently inside the hood, and then one that is out of the hood. I would like to just make it removable, but again, I want to make sure that we're delivering fun, good product to play with. So that the idea is we'll make that call on our end, and it's not going to change the price or anything. It's just a matter of you're either going to get an extra head or you're going to get a removable hood. But yeah, 3 sets of hands, Santa mask, hood, 2 heads, soft goods for the Krankle.
Awesome.
I like that you guys did the hood as a separate part and not soft goods
Sculpted.
because I feel like even with bendy wire, hoods will never have that natural drape.
Exactly why I did it. Exactly.
And it helps trap the other stuff down to kind of lay correctly. And it
was all thought out, man. We were like, we had that conversation. Like, we can't do it with material. It's too small. There was no chance.
Even the best fabric hoods that I've met, I've bought tons of stuff, like Mezco collector and everything, and it's like you have to wire around the perimeter of the hood plus the seam down the middle in order to even get it, so that way it can start to pose right. And it's like, I don't know that juice is worth the squeeze when a sculpted one we can match and make it just look great, and you can take it off and he can have the hood off.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I got this Mafex Luke, and it's almost like a perfect figure, but the wired hood doesn't have a wire down the top, and so it sticks up. So it's frustrating, but great figure anyway. Okay, so there is Krankle, and then you've got Wendigo. And this guy has put the wrong picture there. Sorry.
Wrong. Damn it, Ryan.
I was in a hurry to make this slideshow. It's a lot of work. There's
It's
the
all
real
good
Wendigo.
because these pictures have most of the stuff, not everything, but a good chunk of it. He also comes with additional sets of hands beyond what you just see here, but the base Wendigo figure obviously has a crazy Wendigo zombie-esque head. He's got this awesome deer skull helmet that's removable that Phil designed that I want him to tell you guys about. He comes with the skull head with articulated jaw, which you see on the picture on the right. And he comes with a half-eaten arm that he can either have as a snack or use to bludgeon people. And 3 sets of hands as well. But Phil, do you want to talk
I'm just
about
thinking
that?
about my poor wife upstairs listening to this and just like,
Yeah, she's not going to be happy. Sorry. Sorry, Mrs. Pants.
She'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Phil, tell him about the deer skull.
Oh, the deer. Because Falcon's families are all hunters, so I was able to get a deer skull and figure out exactly how it would work, and it doesn't. You can't see through it. Your eyes don't line up. So I had to tweak the skull and basically make it a deformed skull with bone disease and whatnot. And I've said this before, but if that thing was ever alive, it would live in nothing but pain.
The Wendigo is one of my personal fan favorite ones as well. So much so that I actually had the prototype in my car and I was just driving it around places. So I started like during the campaign Wendigo Wednesdays. And yeah, he came to In-N-Out. So
was hungry.
He got some mediocre fast food. I brought him to Target. I brought him to the movie theater. And then this coming Wednesday, you'll have to stay tuned and see where he goes next. But yeah, I love Wendigo. He actually, my wife and I, as our Christmas gift to one another, we just took a little trip up to Big Bear, and I brought Wendigo with me. And the picture of him in like the water cave that ties into his backstory is actually like I brought the Wendigo on like our romantic Christmas gift trip, and I'm like taking pictures of it. So, when she leaves,
What a lucky
you guys
lady.
will know why.
I like Blake Tarpley's idea, Bone Collector version 3 with deer mask. Like you could have
Heck
a whole
yeah.
bone mask
Okay.
army of dudes, man.
I know that I'm good friends with Dave Vonner. We've written a long series of magazine articles called For the Culture in Toy Collector Magazine, where I have spoken about Valaverse, Action Force multiple times, and Vonner has spoken multiple times about action figure crossovers and how much he wants it to happen, because we used to get so excited as comic book fans for any of the crossovers, like even intercompany crossovers, but then obviously the big, like, when Batman meets Spawn, or the amalgam, and you have Marvel and DC, it's like action figure toy, like Mattel's doing a little bit with the like Masters of the Universe crossover and stuff, but it's like I don't think that it's clever, but it's not what I want from a crossover. And like toy crossovers, I think that there's something there in the future, hopefully. So
I totally want to do an Action Force crossover with somebody.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll kill some of your guys. That would be awesome.
So, as far as the characters in the line, we're kind of going through the different types of monsters: vampire, demon, mad scientist. Now we're on the zombie. So you got to tell everyone this guy Wendigo's backstory, because it's another gnarly one.
Well, the Wendigo, it's lore. It's actually old school, very old school. So you get cursed with the Wendigo, and you have an insatiable hunger, and that's how people start. They would start going and killing people. I think it was based in like people just losing their minds
This is about to get gross again, guys, because Phil's going to tell you about his head.
But so the story is, rich guy is hunting a deer, gets stuck in a cave. Something's in the cave. He goes and he finds it, and it's the curse. He gets cursed, and he gets the insatiable hunger. And that's why his lips are gone, because he's eaten through them. That's why the scratches on his face are him like scratching and eating. Ugh. And that's why the arm is in the package as like it's got frostbite on it too, on the hands.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's to the story.
It's really nasty.
It's nasty.
Yeah. He's a cannibal, monster cannibal. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of touched on it, Ryan. Like it's the idea of the cursed dead. Like, when Phil, Josh, and I were all talking about it, it's like, it's Phil's take on kind of the classic horror character tropes, but also trying to make some new stuff, like obviously Krankle and Dr. Scante, or like they were trying to use some of the classic horror stuff that's out there, and then also new items as well, introducing them. So the idea is like Phil has a bunch of other characters designed for this base body, and he also actually has designed 2 base bodies beyond this one. The what we would call the Wave 2 base body. We actually teased at Designer Con back in the day. Phil showed off gray 2-ups of our werewolf and a character called Pig. Phil's holding them up now. But yeah,
that's the one.
So these are 2-ups. They're Bobby knows what that means. They're double the size, guys. This is how people used to do things in the toy industry back in the day. Now everything is done either 2 size or with a little bit of production shrink. But back in the day, everything was sculpted 2-up and then pantographed down. So when we launched our line, we were showing it at DesignerCon, and we wanted a big splash. We wanted people to see the stuff, and we thought, what better way to do it than have, bigger versions so people could see them easier, and we draw them in and we can talk about it. So
what is it? Has it been 5 years that you've been teasing me with that Pigman?
Yeah,
I want that Pigman so
we're
bad.
almost Valaverse celebratory anniversary. Obviously, we've been working on it for as long as Valaverse has gone on. But yeah, we originally showed it. It was DesignerCon of 2019, which was November of 2019. A couple months later, pandemic happened. Kind of put us on hold for a little while there.
Valaverse was making things happen. We were folding and figuring it out.
Yeah. And then Phil, Josh, and myself, we all have family, day jobs, and everything. So yeah, we've taken our sweet ass time, but finally got all of our shit together, and we finished all of these Wave 1 prototypes to the point where I was comfortable sending them out to get factory quotes. We got our quotes, and now you see a Kickstarter campaign right here.
All right.
Are you guys using anyone specific or well known for your soft goods, for the prototype soft goods?
Phil did 3 of the 4. Okay. The other one is a female in New York, I believe. I don't know her name off the top of my head.
She did Dr. Scante's.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I couldn't have done that.
But the other the name person is Phil for the
all right.
The other 3.
Yeah.
What side of your family were the Taylors? The Mexican side or the Irish side?
The Mexican side. Yeah.
Phil is an Irish Mexican, everyone.
I want to get this funded just so I can get a Pigman in the future.
The Pigman is messed up too, and that body type obviously is for lack of like a better way to describe it, it's like a Thor or a Hercules kind of size, like bigger but not giant. And then Phil actually straight up and that's unfinished, like that doesn't have the articulation all cut in yet or all of the detail added. It was just kind of a tease to show where we were thinking about going in the future. And obviously a werewolf is a classic horror character, and then Pig is Phil's warped mind coming up with new horror characters. So, and then Phil developed a third base body, which is in digital sculpt. I don't think it's finalized, but it's like more of like our Hulk size character. So we do have plans. We would like to make Kirstead for the foreseeable future, and we're just hoping to get that opportunity.
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah. So speaking of the future figures within this campaign, you have some stretch goals. The first one unlocked will be Mangler.
So the Mangler is Phil's take on the Gillman, so the creature from the Black Lagoon kind of character. It is intended to be another basic figure, an army builder. It would come with 2 heads, multiple sets of hands. It does also have new tooling for the head, hands, and its feet. And it is like I've seen it. It's awesome looking. And yeah, it will have an articulated jaw as well. And the reason for the Mangler name is he took some design cues from an angler fish.
Oh yeah,
mixed with the Gillman. So, but because like I have to keep saying this because every time I say anglerfish, everyone knows like it's got that little dingle thing, and I hate that. Like it's like, so I was like, get rid of that garbage. So it does not have that. Instead of having like a little glowing orb, we're gonna do the eyes in kind of a glow. The idea, whether or not it's glow in the dark paint or if it's just painted with like a haze to give the appearance of glowing, I haven't 100% finalized that because that one is still in digital sculpt prototyping land versus actual physical product. But yeah, I would love to be able to start teasing that and showing it off. I just want to get closer to that funding goal first.
Sure.
And then
Adam, I can send you a picture if you don't know what, because I'm not sure if it's Mattel that does it. I know it's a Jurassic World, Jurassic Park item, but it's like the kid versions. It's not the collector product.
Right. The Netflix show or whatever.
Yeah, the way they do the eyes. Have you seen the way it almost looks like the eye cavity is recessed? They tampo print or inkjet spray the pupil, and then they stick in a clear eyeball so it looks three-dimensional.
Oh wow.
I see it all the time. My son plays with them, and I'm like, I want a reason to do this. Like when I see stuff that other companies do,
that's kind of like what those the movie Mario Brother toys have a little bit too. Those are dope.
Yeah, they do a really good job with that. That's when you were just talking about the eyes. I was like, ooh, that could be interesting.
I'll look for those. That sounds awesome.
And then our second stretch goal would be another basic figure, and that's actually it's another for the demon ranks. So the first stretch goal would be, a monster creature, would have the VHS style packaging, and then the second one would be another for the demons, for the bad guys, and it would have like the old book style packaging.
Okay, cool. Now, Adam, I know that you are like me. We are both articulation whores, right? I'm all about moving 100%. These figures around, right? And you guys have done some pretty cool stuff with the articulation in these figures. You have triple like mid torso articulation. You have a ball joint at the waist, a crunch in the middle, and then a ball joint at the diaphragm.
It's actually not even a ball joint at the diaphragm.
What is it?
It's like this is. I don't think I can disassemble the playable, but it's if you, I know you can't zoom onto your thing either, but the little peg that's in between the upper torso and that mid torso joint is actually like it's, instead of being a barbell, it's a double mushroom pack. And there's a trench that we've designed that runs laterally and like horizontally.
Yeah, it's like a cross chamber. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So that's what allows for like this crazy side to side as well as crunch back and forward. Like it's insane the amount of articulation there. And this isn't something that we like. I'm not saying like we didn't reinvent anything. This is stuff that's all like kind of been done and out there. I'm not sure if the chamber has been done like in the same way as an upper torso joint. Might have been on some of the larger scale, older like Toybiz stuff. But in general, like we just wanted to make sure this thing moved like crazy. And because Phil was developing this body type that he wanted to start with the skinny body. And it was like, well, okay, then we need to be able to fold this thing in half. Like I want him to have the craziest articulation possible. So we designed it with that in mind, because torso joints in like early Toybiz stuff, and I'm sorry, Phil, I know you were involved in some of these. They didn't always look good when they tried to pack in that articulation, because you're sacrificing human anatomy in order to fit in articulation. And it's like that, it just doesn't work. Like literally human bodies don't look like that. Luckily, we're creatures and monsters. So it's like, in order to create the amount of space we needed to trap all of these different joints, it was like, hey, we're designing this body. So we got to design the body around some of the articulation. And obviously Ryan put together this awesome little slide here of some of my silly pictures that I took of this thing. I don't think that anyone's going to really pose their figures like this. Maybe the upper right, but likely not on any of the others. The idea is to just show you guys that this thing, what I took pictures of here was our 3D printed prototype. So like this is a resin, with styrene pins 3D print. I know Bobby knows how unbelievably ridiculous these are to deal with. Some joints ridiculously tight, some joints ridiculously loose. Stuff tends to fall apart. Stuff is very brittle and fragile. If you drop it, sometimes shatters. But nonetheless, I was able to have a blast posing and playing with this thing despite all of the nonsense. So articulation is very, very important to us on this line. And I know people have said, they're like, hey, this line, this, your wave one is all developed on one base body. And it's like, yes, it absolutely is. Multiple heads, multiple sets of hands. There's unique tooling. Dr. Crane has freaking half of a body going on with unique tooling. Other characters have new unique hand parts, accessories, everything. But the idea is that they're all built on a crazy articulated body. So like this thing should make it so across the board, all of these figures are going to be a hell of a lot of fun to play with and pose. Even the soft goods that Phil developed, none of them are going to impede. Like some of my complaints when I get a Mezco figure, it's like, oh, they're wearing spandex or something. And it's like, now that's making it so I can't pose this thing as crazy as I may want to. None of our characters, our scientists, are wearing some pants and stuff, but the pants are also loose enough that we're able to get splits and move things like crazy still. So articulation, very important.
I love this is an understated, I think, joint on a figure when there isn't a boot to put a boot swivel. I love when you put it down here, right?
Yeah.
So it's hit just like the Swarm character, Bobby.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you got it right down there, so
Mhm.
you don't have to break up the sculpt right there. Love that.
That was the idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
we tried to, and I know some people on the internet, there's a bunch of meanie butts out there. You know how it goes. And they don't love the ball joint hip. They're like, oh, that's like old Toybiz. And it's like, yeah, well, guess what? It works design-wise and it functions the exact same way. And we did it intentionally. Like it was like the newer thigh swivel that's on like, every 1/12 scale line. Like General Giant did the Bucky cap body that like kind of introduced that to Hasbro. We know about that, but the way Phil was sculpting this and the plates and the armor and the musculature, it's like, we didn't want just a straight cut through the thigh like that. So we actually did this on purpose. The function of it is exactly the same. It actually is built in very much the same way. The ball is not just like a ball there. It is a trapped ball with a cylinder that goes down to give you the swivel below. Like it's engineered in the way to function identically. And it was a purpose design choice on our end.
This your favorite pose, Adam?
Well, it's kind of like a little bit of my shtick, right?
Yeah.
You know something about having a shtick.
I do, yeah. My shtick is played out shtick. I beat jokes to death. Okay, so let's get into some size comparisons real quick.
I keep thinking about that upper torso articulation, and I'm like, man, that it's, because I'm always looking for a way to improve my figures, and it's just like, how do you improve that torso articulation? And I'm like, the cross chamber it performs so much better than the ball because you have a larger chamber to go back and forth with. And it's like, yeah, you just don't get like the 3/4, but I'm like,
you get the 3/4 from the waist though.
You get the 3/4 from the waist. So I'm just like, oh, that's really interesting.
It's really cool. And it's like, obviously I think because you've got mostly human character, although like you're Praetorian, you probably could get away with that, but obviously it's like you start to run out of some space in the torso with human proportions. But, I think that even just like that upper chamber and then lower ball waist would probably function like crazy too.
Yeah.
Crossover, Bobby. Crossover. Maybe.
Crossover. Let's do it.
Something.
All right. Love the articulation. How about some size comparisons? Because you said you built these to work with other lines. By the way, go ahead.
No, you should talk occasionally on your own podcast. You go first.
I was just gonna say you took a lot of size comparison shots. I didn't include them all, but if there's a line that someone likes and they're watching and they want to see the line and it's not here, it's probably on the Kickstarter page.
I collect a lot of toy lines.
You do.
So it's all there.
Problem.
The thing that I want to mention is that all of our prototypes that aren't 2-up are otherwise 104% because we were accounting for production shrink. Not all of the factories are digital deliverable. I mean, they usually will take digital files, but some of them want physical tooling masters as well, or they'll charge you for physical tooling masters. So when we were preparing our prototypes, we were doing it with handing over to factories to get quotes in mind. So our painted prototypes, our playable prototypes, everything that we have that's physical is 104% size to account for some production shrink. So the figures are at like 7 inches tall when they're standing straight up and down. With 4% shrink, that would be like, could be up to 1/4 of an inch, which would put the figures down closer to 6.75 inches. So likely our figures will land somewhere between 6.75 and 7 inches. And so just keep that in mind when you look at the comparison pictures, that they will likely shrink a little bit more beyond what you see here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and, they're monstrous figures. So even if they did come out this size, they won't, but it still works. Looks great. And there's a lot to get through here.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I don't think I took half of the pictures and added them to the slideshow, man. Like not even half.
It was over Christmas break, and I was literally just plucking different toys out of my display to be like, all right, I'm going to show it with literally everything that I can imagine. So that way people can, figure out what works for them. If they can make this figure work in their collection somehow, great.
Yep. There's the Legends, like the most popular line. So good, Bobby.
I want to get the Mezco Constantine and take pictures of them with Constantine.
Mezco Constantine is a great, like, it's one of my favorites of the Mezco figures for sure. He's another one where, the soft goods on him does not impede the articulation. And luckily he has the base body that has double joints for the elbows. It's not that dated single jointed elbow that they use for some of the suited characters. Hey, thanks, man.
Thank you, True Star Screamer.
Oh yeah, some of my recent Valiverse orders.
Look at that pretty gal. I could see her fighting guys.
The cosplay Pandora.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, woof.
All right.
Maybe I'll go do a show in California. Bring her out there.
Now, guys, it's time for the rough part. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Bring it on.
Okay, but how much do they
$1 million?
All right. So the basics are 40 each. Your deluxes are 85 each. Or sorry. So you can get the brothers, the 2-pack, for 75. So you get a little bit of a discount there if you get the 2 brothers. Yep. You have the Army Builder set 3 for 110, and you have the 5, one of each of the basics for 190.
Yep. So there's bundle options to lower the prices of all of these if you wanted to do bundles, and between the Kickstarter rewards. So like these are all, rewards. It's what you pledge for. They're also available as add-ons. So every one of these tiers, you can buy any figure individually by itself at their base prices. Then there are bundles, and then there are add-ons. So if you wanted to like save more money and you are interested in a few of these, you can stack these like coupons, like you can get the Army Builder Drinker 3-pack and then do the add-on for Hate and Rage. And that lowers the price of, so like you're no longer paying $40 a figure for basics at that point. You're stacking them, and it's, you're saving quite a few dollars by doing that. So we tried to give you a variety of options to kind of save a few bucks here and there. But yeah, $40 for a basic figure. You get at least 2 heads and 3 sets of hands. Some of the characters actually have more than that. And then with the deluxe figures, the same kind of deal. You get multiple heads, multiple sets of hands. You get soft goods that are painted on, distressed, wired, and also you get $85 out of your pocket.
Yep. And then the deluxes are 85 each, but then you have the all deluxe figures for 325.
So you get a discount if you want all the deluxe, and then there's the all-ins as well. If you wanted to back for all 9 figures, those are available. So all of that, like, it's like if you do the, like, I encourage people to go look through the different options and do the math, because like the bundles are where you save money. Like so if you're not happy with the price of just one figure, look at the bundle options, because in all honesty, one of the ways that you can, as a collector, if you're not even interested in multiple figures, maybe one of your friends is, and you guys can go in on stuff together. And, if they're local or whatever. I've backed quite a few Kickstarters in my time, and I am fairly certain that once these actually ship and are in hand, people are going to be scrambling to get them. So you're not going to have a hard time unloading anything that you may not want and, making that money back, or more if you're one of those type of people. Whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat, it's available as an option. But there are ways to make it less money.
The worst thing is when they ship and everyone starts getting them in hand and you start seeing pictures and you're like, oh, I should have backed that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's like it's the big FOMO thing, when it's like, eventually it gets out there and then all of a sudden everyone wants them. And then people are going on eBay and paying more money, or, like even then, like it's like Big Bad Toy Store. I love Big Bad Toy Store, but it's like, it's a significant markup. They have to, and it's like, we offered them wholesale pricing and they still marked it up like even more beyond that, because they're a business. That's how they operate. So, that if you want the cheapest option, it's through the Kickstarter, and also the Kickstarter bundles are going to really if you sit there, get a calculator, do a little bit of math. I promise you, they're not unreasonable. I buy toy lines at a variety of different price points. I would love everything to be inexpensive. Unfortunately, that is not the case with manufacturing these. I know I already talked to Bobby a little bit about that beforehand, but I'm ready to go if you guys want to talk more.
But it's like 40 is not like, the people that are like, oh, 40. It's like, listen, man, look at some of the other stuff on the market. There's other people that are legitimately like gouging prices on some things where it's definitely not worth the price. So I think anyone kind of balking at the price, it's like, no, they're designer figures. Like,
they're low run too.
Huh?
They're low run too. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
it's a low run, but it's a low run where we have to hit minimum order quantity,
exactly.
which we won't have hit in the Kickstarter, but we have to pay for all of them.
Yeah. It's like I back 2 figures, but I'm like, oh, I'm gonna back some more.
Thanks,
but
man.
like, people like, it's I think people are very quick to jump on a like, oh, that price is too high. Like I remember when I first started and the Kickstarter launched in 2019, and they were $32. I remember people were like, oh, way too high of a price. Well, yeah, but now it's like, all right, well, my price came in at 30, but then everyone caught up. Now you get like Legends and Black Series, and they're $30 some places. McFarlane jumped up his price from 20 to 25. It's like this is kind of, when you're a collector, it's like me, it's like I don't really like balk at prices a lot, because I'm like, I'm a collector. I expect to pay higher prices for things, especially designer figures and imports and things like that. Now
these are like, it's like at the end of the day, right? These are non-essential items.
Yeah.
They're entertainment based. So it's like, it's a different world.
Yep.
But I'm one of the things that I talked to you about, Bobby, is like how much I respect the fact that you were able to lower the prices. And, hopefully we get the opportunity to make wave 1 here. And then as we move on, wave 1.5, wave 2, what have you, we'll have established a relationship with our factory where we might get some better pricing. And I love that you passed that on to the customer. Like, that's the coolest thing. Like I said, it's a baller move, like it buys you so much goodwill with the fans. And it's like, I respect the hell out of it. I am a fan. So I want to do that same thing. I want to, I want to follow in these footsteps of your 6 years.
I'm just trying to be you, dude.
Oh,
we're going to wear your skin like Krankle.
Forget it.
I mean, it's like, look, I'm just trying to put, the people first. We can't do it without the the collectors and the consumers. It's like, nothing bothers me more when I see companies gouging prices on stuff. I mean, there's a lot of speculation going on these maximum figures. I've been very vocal about Super 7 and their prices. But it's like, it's like there's so much competition in the space right now. It's like when I started Valaverse and Action Force, I mean, shit, there's probably 7, 8, 9, 10 more companies that have sprouted up since then, bunch of different Kickstarters and things like that. So it's like, here I am trying to build my line, but at the same time, you got more people coming up and doing more stuff. And it's like, we're in like collector times. Like everyone says, like the golden age of collecting. Like, yeah, it's not the 80s when we were kids, but this is like high quality, adult collector times. But there's so much out there, and it's like you always try to be mindful of the money people have, the space people have, which is like when you're doing a vehicle or, I'm trying to think of line plans. It's like, you got to be careful because you want to be able to give people a ton of offerings, but also you have to be mindful of what else is out there. And you don't want people just kind of picking and choosing. You want people to buy everything you got.
You don't want people to have all of your vehicles parked on the ground over here because you run out of space. Right? Like, it's like, I don't know what to do with all of this stuff. I love it. But we
need to partner with, like, I was like, man, I should partner with IKEA so that they can make a glass like end table that fits a Vanguard. So then it's like, oh, well, then you could display your Vanguard in a side table.
I love it. I love that idea. Partnering with storage solutions. Yeah, and in general, like, it's like, yeah, pricing is it, like, stuff costs money. Like it is, like, we are new at this. Phil and I have been in the industry for a long time doing prototyping work for other companies, but this is us stepping out and making a toy line from start to finish ourselves, like what Bobby did like 6 years ago. Yeah. So we want that opportunity, and we're kind of basing like our professional reputations on the quality of these pieces. So like at the end of the day, I promise if you back these, I'm vouching my reputation on these being high quality. Like what you end up getting in hand is not going to be lackluster or disappointing, because I want to continue working professionally in the toy industry. And as does Phil over here, it's like, this is our day job as well. So this is something where we're going to make sure that this product lives up to all of the hype that we're giving it, because we want nothing less than the best.
Yeah. And like, listen, people listening, they know I've been very hard on kind of Kickstarter startups, like people that I call them like YouTube Kickstarters, because I'm very, very vocal about it, because it's like, this is our industry. Alka is like, we're in this industry. This is kind of our industry, and I'm very protective of it. So when I see people trying to like squeeze in that don't have the experience, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. But it's like, guys, look, I wouldn't be pushing this line if I didn't know that these guys could do it. It's like, I'm not sitting here like kind of giving shit for his line because he doesn't have the experience. These guys know what they are doing. Like Adam's worked on tons of stuff. Phil's been in the industry for forever, and he's worked on an unbelievable amount of lines. So it's like, these guys know what they're doing. That's why I trust that they will deliver on what they're making.
Thank you for that. That's true.
and just to add on,
the industry too, man. I feel the same way. Sorry, LaserPants.
No, it's okay, man.
That's what this whole podcast is about. It's us talking over Ryan.
That's fine.
We all cut you off.
Listen, you guys are all like the toy industry guys. You know what's going on. I'm just some goofball that fell into this talking on the internet thing.
You're a very sweet potato.
I am. Right. But I know there's been a lot of chatter over the Maximum Spider-Man recently, right? And the price behind that, or what it's going to be, and the
I don't know the price, but I am going to buy multiples of that, because Gentle Giant did digitally sculpt that for Hasbro. There you go. I will say that. But I can't deny, I can't defend, Bobby knows, like, he used to hire Gentle Giant to do prototyping work when he was at Hasbro. It's like, we're not told like, hey, this is in a wave, like with this, we don't get any of that info. We just get, hey, sculpt this stuff. And then we get to occasionally throw in our 2 cents about what's included or any tweaks on the design. But yeah, we don't get any other info. We did digitally sculpt that thing, and I'm excited for it.
That's good.
I'm worried about the price, but I am excited for it.
But what I wanted to say was, it's not really a fair comparison when you take a Hasbro figure at their prices and what they can do, and then compare it to a Kickstarter who's just starting off. The difference in production numbers is unreal.
Yeah.
You know, and when you go from making 2,000 of a figure to 100,000 of a figure, the factory drops the price on that quite a bit per figure.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Talk about a lot.
Yeah. So
I mean, like that.
Keep that in mind.
like,
hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you off now.
go,
Adam
sweet potato, go! It's a new thing. It's sticking.
If this funds at 100, you need 170,000. If it funds at 170,000, you guys aren't going to be rich.
We're not.
You're
I mean,
going to be in the hole.
If it funds at 170,000,
that's not enough money.
You're gonna have to make it.
We'll take out a. Yeah, we will. But like, that's the thing. We were prepared for that, and like that's where we set the goal. Where we thought people would actually potentially help us get to. And the idea is that we have a business plan. We actually know we have our full factory costs. We engineered all of this. We sent it to 3 different factories. We got quotes back. We know how much all of this costs, and we know our minimum order quantities, what we have to hit, what to make these. Basically, if we just scrape by and hit our goal, we're going to go to a bank and we'll get a loan for the rest. We will get approved for it because we will have shown them how much of a backing this has, and we'll make these toys. But like, it's literally making this stuff is expensive, especially when you're out the gate initially. Eventually, just Bobby is able to have a relationship with factories where he starts getting deals. Obviously, the big companies, the Hasbro's themselves, get crazy good rates and deals, and that's how they're making a ton of units. Us, right. We're barely trying to figure out how to pay for the minimum order quantity, and even then, I'm trying to talk to the factories to lower the minimum order quantities so that way we can actually afford. So it's a process, guys, and I just want you to know that we did our homework. It's not like we're just making any of this up. We completed the prototypes because that's what Phil and I do. And then we sent them out and got like 3 different quotes. And, that's what we're working with.
Yeah. And Kickstarter, you're not just buying something. You're investing in the company. You're kickstarting the company. You're helping your dreams come true. Right. So you make Series 1 happen and
wear Bobby Vala's face.
That's right. Then we get Series 2 and 3 and we get a pig man. So let's make that happen. All right. You guys want to take some questions from the audience?
Let's do it.
Okay. First one, Impossible Pie. Thank you for the tater chat. He says, did I hear Phil worked for McFarlane? Wondering what figures he worked on. Good luck with the Cursed Dead. Figures look fantastic. 3 POA for life. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I did Spawn 2, the Redeemer.
The second wave, the unmasked hamburger head spawn.
Yep.
With
the Curse. Wings. I did parts of the Curse. And then I did a bunch of stuff for the Youngblood line.
Cool.
And then from there I went straight to Toybiz.
Masterpiece.
Then I went straight to Toybiz.
You also worked at Toybiz, but you did not work on the transforming Punisher that transformed into a kick gun.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to track that guy down. I want to have him on
the show.
That
was all Vonner.
Yeah.
That was
before Vonner, man.
Yeah.
I remember when Vonner started.
Wow.
That was a long time ago, man.
There's lots of jokes we could tell about that, but they have to be off the air.
Okay.
All right. I will ask you. I'll find out. Falcon has to know. I'll find out. I guarantee you it was done in the misappropriation of anatomy was probably done in China.
All right. Kato's Collection. Thanks for the super chat. He says, me love you long time. Thank you, Kato. I love you too.
That's for you.
We got Curb Stop with the Tater Chat. Thank you, sir. He says, "What's up, my dudes hiding in the closet at work? Have a good show. Replay squad." All right, man. Thank you. You got Star-Lord here. This question came in earlier during the show. He said, "You're asking to pay more upfront to get more later on. If it doesn't fund, there is no later on."
That's 100% accurate.
Yep.
It's like the idea is that these prices are where they're at because that is reality. But if we were to blow past our stretch goals, then we will have some extra money to play with. And that is where I would like to use that by adding potential accessories or pieces into existing figures. So yes, I am exactly asking that. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but I think that it's cool.
It is. I mean, that's how Kickstarters work, man. But he also said these look cool though.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Scott Hughes says street humans are probably the ones that off the guy in the pumpkin patch. Okay, that's not a question though. We don't. But thank you for that. Star-Lord says all the same body, just different heads and paints. Kind of, but some of the deluxes have a lot
there's quite a few new bits and pieces for certain characters, and like some have more than others. But yeah, generally speaking, it is.
And when you get it in hand, like that was the cool thing about the meetup is that people were able to see them personally. There's so much detail and like texture and everything added to this guy, to the main body, so that it reads as different things with different color. Like it could be, broken flesh. It could be rock. It could be a lot of different things, vegetation. But every time you color it differently, it looks kind of different. It blends for itself.
All right.
And also like, the people that maybe, I don't want to say being mean about it, but it's just like, it's like, look, when you're starting a line, you have to be very tool and conscious.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like when I did Action Force, everyone kind of had the same legs. We did different boots, but like, as legs were shared across everything. And then it's like, the upper torsos, there was 2 upper torsos that were shared across multiple figures. You got to be, but give these guys a chance to grow. And then it's like, you go along for the ride. You get on the train, say, all right, cool. I'm invested. I know what's going to happen. And then it's like, they're not going to just use the same body 100 times. This isn't going to be a Bucky Cap situation. They're going to bring in more stuff. So it's like, just get them across the finish line and they'll show you what they can do.
Yeah. That's the plan, obviously.
All right. Keanu Leaves says he appreciates the non-asymmetrical feel.
Yeah.
Cool. Benny Torres had a question about the shipping. Is that based on the size of your order, or are you going to have a set shipping price because it's not on the Kickstarter?
Yeah, we did not include shipping charge in the initial Kickstarter because, these are a year off from shipping. And while I like to do a lot of research, you cannot research what shipping is going to cost a year from now.
Right.
So I will be 100% perfectly honest with you guys. Shipping will be a charge that is based exactly on what it will take to ship your order. We are not looking to do anything sneaky. It will be, you get charged what it costs to ship your order when that time comes. We don't have the ability to know what that is. Obviously, we are going to look for the best pricing imaginable, and we will have enough orders that I would hope that we will get some pricing breaks on our shipping. But yeah, it is going to be exactly what it costs to ship whatever the amount of figures is at the time.
Yep. All right. CubeTube, this was from earlier. He said figures need lore. It gives them a soul, gives people a reason to want them. So that was just in response to you guys going through the lore of the figures. That's awesome. Matthew Mahler, thank you for the Tater Chat. Convention crossover figure, same character, but each company's interpretation.
That's so funny that he mentions that, because that was actually an idea that I had back in the day, I pitched it to Mattel. I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I wanted, because at the time it was Four Horsemen doing Masters of the Universe, and Gentle Giant was doing the whole, and we still do the whole WWE line for Mattel as digital prototypes. So I was like, yo, it would be dope to do as a convention exclusive, let Gentle Giant, using wrestler tooling with some, potential new parts, do a Masters of the Universe figure, and then let the Four Horsemen, using Masters of the Universe classic parts with new tooling, do a WWE character. And like I was like, this is a genius idea. This is so cool. Everyone's gonna love it. And it was just like, nope, didn't go anywhere. I don't know, probably no one heard of it.
Damn it.
So
They weren't playing nice back then. Now they're starting to play nice a bit more. But yeah, back then they weren't.
Oh yeah, different times, man.
All right, we got Figure Fight Club. This is not Bobby. I just put it in order. You should go ship it now. Okay. Come on.
You know what that
Bobby-
just did? That just made me
6
put it to the
waves
bottom
in.
of the
He's got
pile.
people for that now.
Don't say stuff
Bottom of
like
the-
that. You're just gonna listen. You're just gonna put yourself at the bottom of the pile now.
To the yep.
Don't do
unless
it.
he sends a big ass super chat, right, Bobby?
He's
I
like-
will say that
he's like,
if
"I
you
just made an
do say
order."
nice things to Bobby and you order comic books, he'll sign them for free, because that happened for me.
Yep.
Except there are certain customers we have blacklisted in our computer system because they sell my signed stuff on eBay for like 10 times the amount. So now I have to personalize everything, and there are certain people that don't get signed stuff. Like,
I still have
Nope.
all mine.
Nope.
I sleep with them.
You should be flattered if your signature is catching that much money.
I know.
someone was like, dude, you should like, or people will come to the booth and be like, do you charge for a signature? I'm like, charge for a signature? Why?
Yeah.
Like, no. Sometimes I
Um,
wonder why people want me to sign their stuff. I'm like, you sure? Okay.
I've had a couple times in my life people ask for that, and I'm like, I think it's gonna devalue your toy, man.
I mean, look, if you had a Spawn figure that you sculpted and you had Todd and you sign it, that'd be pretty freaking cool, man. You
I
know?
had
I don't think Todd would appreciate that.
Have him sign
I'm
it first.
derailing for a story to show you how stupid I am. I when Wave 1 of the Spawn figures came out, I'm a New York transplant, so I'm originally from New York. When Wave 1 came out, this is in the early 90s. I think I was still in high school. He had a big launch at FAO Schwartz in Manhattan, and my mom took me in because I'm mama's boy. And like there was like a line that FAO Schwartz was like a whole city block, and the line wrapped around the whole block, and he was signing toys and action figures. I had him sign my copy of Spawn #1, and I had him sign a Spawn action figure, the very first one. I ended up like a year or two later after that, I opened it and I used the figure for a custom. I didn't even freaking keep I'm like, what a dumbass I am.
Oh man.
But it was worth it at the time, I guess.
And what custom did you make? And do you still
I
have
think
it?
I made a Backlash, which is like the Wildstorm. Like it's like I needed a like mostly black base body, and yeah, and that's like back, like I was like customizing, and I was like, he had white stripes on him, and I think I used like white out. Like my customizing has improved since then, but yeah, really bad.
All right. Back to the questions. Harry sent a member chat. Thank you. Blood and drool effects.
I honestly like that's accessory packs and stuff like that is something we would love to do, like whether that's heads or like other accessories. And yeah, blood, I hadn't thought of drool at all, but blood was like one where we're like, heck yeah, we kind of want to, I feel like we went super creepy with these, but we didn't necessarily go super gory. I guess if you're skinning a mall Santa, that's pretty gory, but I think that we could push that a little bit more in the future. Yeah. I don't want to get like totally like written off by people for being way too creepy and crazy, but I would like to get on some of those religious lists of do not buy these toys for your children.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Blake has a suggestion. How about a skull with a brown beard and a baseball
Oh,
add-on. I don't know
I
why.
wonder what that would be.
I have no idea.
Terrible idea. Terrible.
Ugly. Thank you, Blake. We'll get to that one at. Okay, we'll take a question for Bobby and Adam and Phil.
Yeah.
What does Bobby, Adam, and Phil think maximum Spider-Man price will be?
There's what I think it should be, and there's what I think it's going to be. What it should be is $35. That's what it should be.
That's what I would say. That's what I want it to be.
100% what it should be. What it's going to be is $49.99.
You think so? So it's like I was thinking, like my answer would have been $35 is what I would love it to be. $45 is what I think it probably is. But you might be right with the $50 price.
I mean,
point.
the way their prices are all over for stuff. I mean, what is the Red Hulk? Ryan, what's the Red Hulk retailing for?
Oh God,
I didn't even
the
buy
Captain
that.
America line.
I think 35. I'm pretty sure 35.
All right. 35. Yeah. They're
35 is what it should be.
35 is what it should be, but they never do what it should be. They're going to look as, because I know the cost sheets. I know the thinking. I know I've been in those top line meetings, those gate meetings where they're going over and they're just like, oh, all new tooling for everything. That makes a huge difference. So that's why I think it's going to be 50. There's a reason why they didn't say the price on the live stream. If you know the price and you're not afraid to say the price, you say it when you show the figure. When you don't say the price, it leads me to believe they're weary about saying the price. So what they're trying to do is build hype. This way, when they finally open the pre-orders, people are so hyped up that maybe they don't feel so burned on the price. Just my thoughts. I could be wrong. They could listen. They shocked me on the HasLab Dragonfly. I mean, they listened to the fans and they dropped the price on it. After seeing the debacle of the Engine of Vengeance. So maybe we'll start seeing, a different time here where Hasbro's starting to, think for the customer a bit. And listen, maybe it's 40. Maybe 40 is a realistic number. Is it confirmed $49.95? I saw a Facebook post that was either pesos or something that translated to $50, but even that article said that the pricing wasn't finalized. So
yeah, I wouldn't base it off that because there's other factors that go into
and listen,
figures internationally. So
they could be doing this on purpose. Say they had a price in mind. Say they said 50. Say they're like, all right, don't say it. Let it get out there. Let's take a couple weeks and see what people are saying. See what people are like. Oh, okay. This is, use social media as your research. It's a big enough pool. So you go and look what people are saying. And, maybe they'll look at it and say, ooh, 50 was our price. Can we get away with 40 or 45? I don't know.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Okay. Back to the questions. We got a few more here. Ramen Toy is here. What's up, Ace? Thanks for the member chat. He says, if you need the lowest MOQ,
I saw this and I'm like, all right, I assume you guys have Ace's email. I'm a Ramen Toy fan. I don't know Ace yet, but I would love to chat with Ace. And I am absolutely going to be getting a Super Musk. So yeah, let's talk.
Me too. I'm getting the Super Musk, baby. Already got a shelf for it and everything.
Yeah, I was actually just looking because I was like, man, my movie Turtles line is starting to outgrow my first Dio, the NECA Dio they made. So I'm like, oh, I need a second Dio. And then I saw the Super Musk today and I'm like, wait a second. Hold on.
Super Musk looks dope. Definitely the super option is the way to go too. So yeah, I'm absolutely in for that as soon as he puts it up for pre-order.
All right. Thank you, Ace. Now we got this, but I can't say what it is. But I usually put on glasses and act real silly. And that's because he also sent this and said, The wife hasn't gone out of town yet, LP. Keep that membership thing on the DL. Okay, thanks. So thank you, friend, for the kind donation and the gifted memberships. I appreciate you very much. That's all the questions I have in here. Yeah, we're all caught up. Any final thoughts about the Cursed Dead Kickstarter that you want to say to the audience before we wrap this up?
I mean, obviously, we're hoping for a strong finish. You know, all Kickstarters go through it starts off big, then you go through a crazy lull, and then we're really, trying to stay optimistic that we'll have a strong finish here. If not, obviously, we'll have to reconvene and try to make some other plans. I don't think any of those plans are going to include the pricing being much different, though, unfortunately. But, in general, this is something that, it's a passion of ours. This is Phil and I, we work in this industry. I think I've said it, like I am literally paycheck to paycheck. And I do this because I genuinely love doing this. And I'm hoping that we get the opportunity to make this toy line and some of the other stuff we have planned.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, man. This has been really cool. And
so
thank you. It's cool, man. You're an inspiration in this industry.
Thanks, man. Listen, I just do what I think is the right thing to do. I mean, if it inspires people, that's means so much to me. But it's like, listen, you guys paved the way for me. So,
it's cool to see, though, man. It is. It's really well done.
Thank you.
And hey, what's cool is that during the show, it's gone up $3,000. So I think that's a record for us. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Let's get it over the finish line. As Adam has said in the past, don't be a butthole. He won't say that here, right? I'll say it. Don't be a butthole.
I'll say it here. Don't be a butthole.
Yeah.
Buttholes. Ryan is joking because in the past, when talking about other people's Kickstarters, I've told people like waiting until the end or waiting until it funds, you're being a little bit of a butthole because Kickstarter doesn't charge you. So it's like it literally costs, if you're interested and you are going to back it, waiting till the end does not help anyone. It doesn't help Phil and I. It doesn't help any of the other backers. It helps no one. You don't get charged until the very end, no matter what. So that is why I had coined the don't be a butthole and just get your pledge in. And like, that's the other cool thing about it is you can go in and if you're like, hey, I just want one basic figure, but you change your mind, you can edit your pledge up until the end of the Kickstarter as well. So it's like, it's not like you're not locked in. You're just going in to help support getting an indie toy line, like that's all we're trying to do here.
That shit used to always drive me nuts when I would see people's comments like, yeah, I'm going to wait to see if it funds first. It's like, dude, it doesn't charge you.
Exactly. It's like literally.
It defeats the purpose completely.
Right. Yeah.
Adam was explaining it to me and I'm like, really? I thought the whole purpose is to help the Yeah. That's why and whenever I back a Kickstarter, I'm like, dude, like, here's the money. Let's do this.
Yeah. Real quick. Oh, it just went up again. Someone else just put it in order. Okay. You got 6 days, right? Until if you back it now, you got 6 days till you're charged. That's Saturday at
3
p.m.
like an hour before now. So yeah, we're basically like 1 week until this is over.
Yep.
You want to see a big, giant, sad, bald old man come see us on the last day if it doesn't?
You keep saying you're old. You don't. I think you aged well. You don't look that old. But
yeah, it's
we're in the toy industry. Toys keep us young.
We're kids forever, dude. Like, yeah,
I'm older than Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's gonna look like this forever. He'll get a gray streak. It's like all of my friends that are in the toy industry because we get to be kids forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there is a set of it's Arrested Development, man, and it shows. Yeah, I'm 52.
I remember wishing Bobby a happy 40th birthday, and I was like, holy crap, I'm in my 40s already. I'm older than you. I had no idea.
The other day, I'm in the kitchen. My wife goes to me. She's like, wow, when did that happen? And I'm like, what? And she like takes a picture of my beard, and it's like starting to get a bunch of gray in here.
Yeah,
and I'm like, Yeah, man. I run a toy company and I have 2 kids and a wife.
Yeah, dude.
I'm surprised it has.
You got 2? How old are your kids?
8 and 5.
Oh, dude. So, yeah, I've got an 8-year-old right in the other room ready to probably murder me because I told her, I was like, it's going to be an hour. Come on. It's going to be fine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's cool. This is totally worth it, man. And honestly, if you guys ever want to have us back or me back, that'd be cool.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Yeah.
Look,
now that
Phil's
you said that, I
inviting
wanna be in
himself.
your
He wants to
DMs.
join the team.
Phil, we got to work on some stuff together.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, super into it.
Bushman, thank you for the member chat. Maximum Spidey is $51. Pre-order in China. There you go. Okay. Thank you, Bushman. Alpha Red, thank you for the super chat. Gemini gear pack with new head sculpt from Vala? ?
We'll see. Listen, guys, I have a shit ton of stuff that is on the water, that's about to be on the water, that I'm working on, that's coming. I got to remember half the shit I work on. But I do get a lot of requests for some Gemini stuff. So we'll see.
Thank you, Alpha Red. Dino Spumoni, thanks for the member chat. Mystery box for the win. Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Dino. And then, my old buddy, 1-6 shooter.
Dude, that picture is awesome, man.
Excellent photographer, even though he hates me. He says, I had to subscribe to Ryan's channel just to post this. So I want this to fun for you guys. Hashtag back the curse dead.
Yeah,
Thanks,
dude.
Trevor.
Super
Look at
cool.
that. Enemies coming together to back the curse dead. All right.
One of the things that I love about the toy community is how unbelievably small it actually is.
It is, dude.
And if you go, one of the best ways to figure that out, and I know Bobby for sure knows this, is going to New York Toy Fair, which at this point it's ridiculous that it even still exists. I will likely be there working a Gentle Giant Studios booth that doesn't need to be there either. But when you go to New York Toy Fair, it's like the Javits Center, and it's filled with all this toy stuff. And you know how much of it is action figures?
Not much.
Maybe an aisle or two. And it's it's really not that much. And we are a community of adults that really love this stuff. It's it's a pretty small quantity of people here. So beef can be fun if it's fun, but it's I get plenty of drama in other aspects of life that screw it. Toys for me and social media and doing streams and stuff. It's about enjoying a hobby that we all dig, you know?
Yep.
And look, 1-6 shooter, he says, no hate here. That's right. There's never hate on the 3POA. Thanks, everyone. All right. I can't wait to talk to you guys in the back room. So members, stay tuned for the after show. I will be going live in a little bit after this. Give me some time. And that's all I got. What's the next show you guys are doing in the last 6 days?
I actually don't think we're doing anything tomorrow because our families are ready to murder us. But then we do have something Monday. Hold on, I have my calendar up here. Literally, yeah. My son's out waiting for me to make him dinner, probably.
They can look it up. Follow Playing With Myself.
Okay,
on Instagram.
And
follow the
Curse Dead on YouTube. We're saving every appearance on playlists, including this one right here.
Link in description below. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. That's I thought I was turning off. Dude, seriously, good to meet you, man.
Good job, Ryan.
Yeah. That speed metal ending, dude.
Yeah. You ready for it again?
Yes.
Good night, everybody.